guys, welcome to another video. Today we're reviewing Drag Me to Hell. This one came out in 2011 and was directed by Sam Raimi and stars Dilip Rao. Now before we start, hit that like button, subscribe, the post notification bell so you know for every video, and let's just start. Let's start talking about the good. So some of the actors and actions in this film are good, especially Dilip Rao, who he was in Inception. He is good in this film. The opening sequence is awesome. It's an awesome opening sequence. It sets the tone of the film, and it works very, very well for the film. The cinematography, which of course includes the shots, the camera angles, the lighting, it's great. Sam Raimi is a fantastic director, especially in terms of cinematography, and this film is no exception. The use of practical effects is awesome. It's great practical effects, awesome practical effects. Instead of heavy reliance on CGI, which this film does have CGI. There is CGI in this film, but it's not overly used as some films these days use. Sam Raimi knew exactly what he was doing in terms of cinematography. He knew not to include too much CGI where it would become very repetitive and it wouldn't look that well done. But this film, the cinematography, fantastic, especially the practical effects. The first act of the film is great. It's a great first act. It sets up the characters very well, and the characters I get to a little bit later, but it sets them up very well. It sets up the problem, sets up the story of the film very, very well. So the first act overall was great. The second act of the film is very, very entertaining. There is a sequence, a seance sequence, which I'll get to later, but it is fantastic. It is a wonderful sequence, a magnificent sequence in terms of cinematography. And that second act of the film is very entertaining. The atmosphere of the film. Now, this film has a very, very creepy atmosphere right from the beginning. Sam Raimi knew exactly what to do with this film in terms of the atmosphere. And just like Evil Dead, which has that creepy atmosphere to it, this film does the same, and I thought it was very, very well done. There are many creepy and terrifying sequences in this film. There's one sequence, which I'll get to later, but in that sequence, it was very, very creepy. You have some weird sequences, like with a goat who's talking. It was weird, crazy, ridiculous, but a lot of fun. The jump scares. Now, there's some great jump scares in this film. Sam Raimi, the horror legend, created Evil Dead. Jump scares are very, very well done. They're very well executed in the film, and they're placed well in the film. The supernatural elements. There are some great supernatural elements, especially that seance sequence. The seance sequence is one of the best sequences in the entire film. Even on a practical level, in terms of cinematography and the practical effects, fantastic. The tables are shaking, everything, all the lights are flickering on and off. Sam Raimi, fantastic director, obviously. But this sequence in particular is one of the best sequences in the film because it is mostly practical effects, and I'm very, very happy when practical effects like this are used in horror films. Sam Raimi did a great job with that sequence. There are also many weird and disgusting sequences in this film. There is an old lady in this film. She is creepy in this film, and she's disgusting. She does some disgusting things in this film, and I think it fits the overall tone of the film because this film is a very weird film. Sam Raimi directed this film, obviously, and he made it a weird film, but weird in a way that's creepy, terrifying, and fun. This is a fun, weird, creepy, terrifying film. So the weird sequences, I think, were very, very well handled. The score by Christopher Young is great. It is a great score, and it enhances the tense sequences and makes you feel the tension, and you're on the edge of your seat during those sequences by the score alone. So the score by Christopher Young was great. The third act of the film. Now, the third act of the film is awesome. Sam Raimi knows how to make third acts of his films. Like I said, from Evil Dead, Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, the third acts of the film are always the big payoffs in Sam Raimi's films, especially his films, because he knows how to make an entertaining third act, and this film is no exception. The third act of the film is very, very entertaining. The ending sequence. Now, the ending sequence I thought was great. It was a great, great ending sequence. It concluded the film well, included the story of the characters well, and obviously the problem gets resolved at the end, but something happens at the end which I thought was a great, great ending sequence. That's all the good that I have. Now to move on to the bad. So some of the actors and actresses in this film are very, very mediocre. I did not care for a lot of the characters in this film. There are only 2 or 3 characters that I actually cared about, but the rest of them, they were mediocre characters. And there is some overacting in this film, which I get that Sam Raimi probably had the intention of putting actors and actresses in here that would overact, but some of the sequences are a little bit too much for me in terms of overacting. That's about it. Drag Me to Hell is an awesome horror film. I highly recommend this to all horror fans and Sam Raimi fans, and I'm gonna give Drag Me to Hell a B+. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and post notification bell so you can know for a free video. I'm Peter. Thank you for watching.